Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining in for today's session. My name is Sushma.
Really?
I'm an HR generalist working with the IFC currently. Me and Jason have started this group joining in so that we can share the learnings, knowledge, job vacancies with each other. Okay, we'll start the session soon. This session is hosted by Jason and he is the speaker. He is an internal auditor currently working with Seva. I would request everyone to mute the audio so that host and participant both can take maximum from this session. Thank you. Over to you, Jason.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Sushma, for the introduction. Today, it's a privilege for me to come online and share some of my knowledge and to see, again, our friends back in the networking group in the session as well. So it's a great honor for me to discuss one of the most strategic questions, or we can say strategic part of cracking the interviews, which people are actually facing these days. COVID times, you have the problem of going for an interview and everything is online. So keeping that in view, but still you have to prepare yourself to a lot of strategic questions, I think, which you can apply in your life. So this is a session around half an hour, 45 minutes. You can take notes if you like. And again, you can, I will be posting this document in the group as well. So if you can see the screen, if it's visible for you, we will start the session now. So
yes,
today's topic,
the screen is visible.
Yes, thanks a lot. So today's topic is cracking the most strategic questions in an interview. Now, this is one of the most toughest part because everybody is preparing for interviews, and it is very hard to crack, to actually foresee what is in the mind of the interviewer or the employer. Now, it is very important to understand that the employer is looking for not smart questions technically, but he is also looking for all those questions, or we can say all those answers, which actually he needs from an employee, which he is going to employ in his organization to be on the practical side rather than on the technical side. So his communication skills and interpersonal relationship skills are one of the most important factors here, which he's looking forward. So apart from these, the workshop overview will consist of three major parts. First would be 6 strategic questions, which I would be discussing on in this workshop. Now, 6 strategic questions, you can take note wherever you want here. And then I will go forward 20 most important questions to prepare during an interview. Then some part I will touch on life of the termination. So this is actually interconnected to this topic, but still I would be showing you some formulas, or we can say a basic formula where you can apply in your life. Even though you are facing an termination, you can still recover from it. This is based on my personal experience. Now, basic 6 strategic questions. These are the 6 strategic questions which I have chosen for you during this session. Apart from these 6 questions, you will be having 20 more questions. So I would discuss in detail regarding these 6 questions. Now, 6 questions which would change your life. Number 1, how did you hear about this role? Now, this is one of the most, we can say, intriguing question where the employer is actually spending time and his energy to look for a clear answer from you, whether he has appointed you, or we can say whether he has called you from the right source. Now, source is very important. How did you hear about this role? It is not a vague question at all. It is not an unclear question at all. You would think that this question is actually seeking some inappropriate answer, like, for example, Mr. X said, that's why I'm coming for interview, or Mr. Y said, that's why I'm coming for interview, or I saw the advertisement in the paper and I came for an interview. These are all general things which actually people say. But the thing is that I have, if I am an employer and if I am recruiting and if I look for people who are coming to the interview, I would love to hear a specific answer for this question. Now you have a lot of points, bullet points on screen. Now out of this points, just check out the last point. Your company is probably spending significant budget every year on employer branding, advertising, and candidate attraction. It is important to understand what is working, and that is the reason you're asked this particular question. So this is very important. One of the biggest thing that the company is looking for is advertisement, branding, and goodwill. Now, these are all connected questions. These are all connected things which are how to market my company, how I am spending budget on marketing and branding, how I am recruiting my clients, how I am recruiting my potential employees. So these are all questions which revolves around the uh, person, or we can say revolves around the employee who is actually coming and sitting in front of you for an interview. Now, the basic question is, how did you hear about this role? Now, the person who is actually going to answer, the person who is actually listening to this interview, he is going to answer that I have seen your role on such and such a platform. Okay, it may be LinkedIn, or it may be Indeed.com, or maybe some other channel. And I then, the second statement would be, I then researched on this role, and I found that this role is the most suitable for me, and I would like to explore it in detail. So this would be the most practical answer, I think. How did you hear about this role? And I think this is from my experience. Many this answer may differ from many people to people. So this is again choice of the person who is actually answering the question, and how he is trying to negotiate the things in front of him. The next question would be, how do you, okay, I will go next question. Yeah. What do you know about the company? Another most strategic question. What do you know about the company? This is such an interesting question, because I find it very funny, where an interviewer is asking a person who is coming for an interview that, how do you know about the company and what do you know about the company? Now, the basic thing which revolves around my mind is that, why should I know about the company? Now, this question is actually very important. Why should I know about the company? Before coming to an interview, if you're doing your research on the company and you're finding out that these are the projects which the company is doing, these are the products and services which the company is offering, these are the failures which the companies have gone through, these are the company's achievement in the last 5 to 10 years. If you are very clear on this part, I think this is the best thing you have in this interview. I think this is the best, we can say, productive thing which you have in this interview. Even if you don't get the job, even if you don't get the placement, or we can say the interview call again, the second round of interview call, even if you don't get that, but if you are researching about this company, this actually highlights to your knowledge base. This is very important. So the research part is very important. It is very important to know the in-depth activities which the company is doing. For example, if the company is a construction company, it is very important to know what are their projects. And it is very important to know that how, as a person, or we can say, if I am employed as a procurement executive or a sales manager, what contribution do I make to the company's progress projects which is coming in the future. So it is very important to know that the company is actually a developing company or a stagnant company, or some failures have taken place in the last 5 years, but the company has progressed on. So these are very important questions which you need to research on. So this is the second most strategic question. Now, the third most strategic question is, why did you apply? Again, if I am a person who is actually going for an interview, the things which is revolving around my mind would be, why did I apply, and what is the benefit for me from this job? If you're able to answer this question before going to an interview, I think this is problem solved. So this is a strategic question here, where your answer is highly counted as one of the criteria in the selection. Apart from the technical side of the job profile, what attracted you the most is what is counted here. So you have to be very sensitive while answering this. So it is the strength to identify the areas where you focus or plan yourself to be willing to contribute more in the progress of the company. And apart from the financial gains, for example, if I may say that your salary attracted me the most. For example, if I'm offered 20,000 bucks or 20,000 dirhams for a month, and this is the most attractive part of the opportunity which is in front of me. Apart from this, if you see the if you see the progress we can say the progress potential, or we can say that how progressive I can be in this company, or how can I use the talents from my side in this company. This is what matters. The financial part is always secondary. So financial gains are secondary as per the employer. As per the employer, it is always the value that you can create to the company. It's very true. It is very true, because the value creation is very important, and it is very important to understand that you have to be a valuable asset, because you are considered as an asset, and you have to be a valuable asset to the company in order to take you as a potential employee. So it is the future prospects for you. If it is the future prospects for you which you think matters, do present it in such a ways where it is a win-win situation for both the employer and the employee. So it is very important that you are winning as well as the employee is winning. Both are winning on the same scale. Both the employer and the employee are winning on the same scale. So this is important for a potential recruiter. The next strategic question would be, what are your key professional strengths? Now, there are technical strengths, there are professional strengths, there are interpersonal skills, there are educational qualifications. These are all the things which matter the most. But in that, professional strengths are very strategic in nature, because uh, it is the base for your selection. It is one of the base for your selection. Apart from the technical side of the job profile, what attracted you the most? So it is your strength to identify the areas where you focus or plan yourself to be willing to contribute more in the progress of the company. So this is very important. Uh, for example, for example, why the key professional strengths include the like for example, if you're a marketing executive, and you have your professional strengths as for example, you have done some research on some products and services, and you have come to a conclusion that this is the benefits and disadvantages of these products or services. So this is what your professional strengths are all about. How effective you communicate your professional strengths to the end user, or we can say how effective you sell the products and services which you have, or how effective you sell yourself to the end user. This is what you have to share with the employer as well. So the employer may value you on the base of how professionally strong you are. Now, going forward, the most strategic question again shares like, why should we hire you? Now, it is very important to understand that it is not the obligation of any employer to hire you. It is our responsibility to understand them, or we can say to make them understand that I am very valuable to you, and you have a value creation when you are actually taking me in. So it is very important to communicate that it is equally a win-win situation for both of us if you hire me in. So before even preparing for an interview, you exactly have to know that what is your aim in life. If you're finding it difficult to answer this, you're not winning it. So it is very important to understand what is your aim in life. So if you come in and count, we can say, if you have a clear idea of what you are going to achieve in the future, then you have identified your core strengths. So identifying your core strengths is a tool for understanding and communicating the answer to why should we hire you. So after a round of self-analysis, it is time to understand the purpose of this mission. For example, if you're preparing for a marketing executive or representative role, your strength of talking is important. So it is very important that your communication skills is actually in front of the recruiter. So the first and foremost thing would be, what is your aim in life, and identifying your core strengths. This is again adding to it. Now, identifying what makes you different from others. This is another thing which has to be taken we can say taken into consideration. And understanding the company's company's vision, it is very important. The mission statement is very important. So all these things which has to be taken together. The formula for answering this, why should we hire you, would be your story of achievement, plus your strengths plus your skill plus your goal plus the hiring company's goal plus the performance boosters, which will give you the perfect answer to why should I hire you. So this is the formula which I want to discuss today is your story of achievement. What is the story you have till date, that what is the achievements you have made in your life, or we can say in your professional career, plus your strengths plus your skills which you have attained over a period of time, plus your goals, plus the hiring company's goals, your performance boosters, which is the skills which you possess, which together gives you a perfect answer to why should I hire you. So if you make this into a one statement, if you put this in a one statement and present it to the recruiter, it will be the answer perfectly suitable for him to take into consideration to employee, or we can say to appoint you as an employee. Now, going forward, the last strategic question would be, do you have any questions for us? Now, again, employee, or we can say a potential client, or we can say a potential candidate who is sitting in front of the employer, the employer asks, do you have any questions for us? Now, the answer would be, maybe the salary wise questions would be there, or the benefits which you are going to receive, or we can say any other questions which you want, it's in your mind which is coming up, and then you are hesitating to answer him. So these are all questions which can revolve around your mind. So the classic way to finish the interview, this question is important for a number of reasons. It gives the candidate a chance to follow up on any talking point from the interview. It lets them dig into issues that you haven't covered in enough detail. No interviewer can explain everything. And it shows you how much research a candidate has done about a company. So it means that after you finish the interview, it is a time for you to discuss the things which have any impact on the job profile. It may have, like, for example, the timing details, the allowances. So all these things can be put into one statement, and you can ask in front of the employer. So these are the 6 strategic questions which I have framed for you. If you can research more on this, you can have a winning side in future. Now, uh, basic 20 most important questions. These are the basic 20 most important questions, I think, which everyone wants to relate uh, to these days. Now, I will in detail, I will explain to you later, but still, just want to give you a glimpse of this. What's your definition of hard work? Now, very important question. If you are a self-made man, or if you can say, if you have not been compromised in any sort of nature, or we can say, if you have really worked hard for attaining this kind of position, the answer would be very, very tough, or answer would be very uh, tough to formulate, and you can present it to the employer, and you can say that I have been so in situations which was negative. I was in situation which was not so favorable for me at times, but still I had felt all the pains in my life, but still I'm sitting in front of you. So this would be my definition of hard work. In 5 minutes, could you explain something to me that is complicated but you know well? So again, the recruiter is looking for some sophisticated answer, or he's not looking for any sophisticated answer from you, but still, how well you communicate yourself in 5 minutes, that you have encountered in your life, or we can say in a professional career, which was complicated, but you can explain to him. Why are you leaving your current job? Now, it is very important to understand that any negative here can actually mess up things. If you have been, for the biggest negative which could come here is if you have been terminated from a role. If you have been terminated from a role, it is again it is very difficult to communicate that how you have to communicate this situation to the potential employer which is hiring you. If I have been terminated from a role, how can I tell him that I was terminated from the role because of so and so reasons? If it is, like, for example, genuine reasons, you can share the genuinity out of it. If it is like, for example, you were terminated because you were not fit for the role, then you have to share it in such a way that you have to come up with such an idea, or we can say a strategy, that the present opportunity may not be affected, but the past experience should be counted. So you have to draw a line in between them. So it is very important again. The next question would be, tell me about a time you messed up. So this is again, the interviewer is actually looking for a data, we can say a detail where you have messed up things, but still you have come up winning it. So this would be one of the strategic question as well. So next question would be, what's the biggest decision that you have made over the past years? Why was it such a big deal? This question would be to analyze your strength, how actually you took this biggest decision in your life to excel. So this would be again a very important question for you to answer. What made you excited to get up and come to work at your last job? What made you excited to get up and come to work at your last job? So this is again showing the positivity in you. It is again showing the enthusiasm in you to work. Is it for the just money purpose or monetary purpose, or is it the zeal, or we can say the passion which drives you? So that's what the employer really needs to know from you. Then the next question would be, what's your management style? What's your management style? How well you deal with your staff? How well you deal with your team? It is very important to understand that you have to give a clear answer. You have to give a clear answer regarding this to your interviewer. Okay, so
Jason,
yes, please.
sorry to interrupt you. Either can you make me a co-host, or can you let participants in?
Just a moment.
Yeah.
I have made you the co-host.
Thank you.
Okay. So going forward, yes. So I was on this point. What's your management style? What's your management style would be, like I discussed, it is about team management, how well you manage your team. So this is actually giving the impact that how well you attain your outputs, or we can say how well you attain your targets in the given frame of time. So maybe it would be a 50 team members, or 60 team members, or 10 team members, whatever the size of the team members would be. It is about your style. Maybe it is your leadership style, which is actually the employer wants, or it is something else he wants. So you have to discuss in detail how well you manage your team. So is there anything about this interview process that you would change? This is the most again it is a part of a strategy question, because if you don't like anything out of this interview, you have to be very clear to communicate that. For example, maybe the way of questioning is harsh, or maybe the way of question is not actually to the point, or maybe some other things. So this would be actually a strategic question which the potential recruiter puts in forward to you to understand what is going in your mind. Then going forward, what would your first 30 to 60 or 90 days look like in this role? So the first 30, 60, 90 days are the most crucial ones. Everyone would agree with me, because it is the most strategic point where would decide your career in future. For example, if you have been employed for a firm for a critical role, and it is your first day, and it is your first day, and it is very tensed, and you mess up things over in the office. So it is like analyzing how we can say forecasting how well you actually plan your next 30 days. So if you have a real plan in with you for the next 30, 60, 90 days after entering the role, you can communicate that to the employer. That, for example, I have this role, I would go up to the team and ask for the introduction, or I would sit with the team and I would ask for their failures. Why would you what is the most important thing which you want to achieve in future? So these are all things which you could discuss with your role with your team. So then going forward, the next question would be, how do you set goals? So another important question here, it would be goal management, setting your goals. If you're given goals in a specified time limit, for example, if you're a project manager, if you're a project manager for a company, how well you would manage your project within the deadline, within the given goal, set time frame. So these are all things which is coming up to your mind, which is coming up to the employer, and he would ask you how well you are going to set your goals within a period of time. So these are all things which you can analyze and discuss with your employer or recruiter. And if you have done it in the previous role, you can discuss this as well as in the interview time. So going forward, the next question would be, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Another important question is this forecasting. I would say that another 5 years, you have to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you have to have a plan, because it is very important to understand that your plan is such a crucial thing which is going to actually decide your future. If you don't have a plan for you in your current role or in the future role, or generalizing your plan, because if you don't have a plan for actually the next 5 years, you're not in a winning position. So you have to have a clear picture of where actually you will be placed in the next 5 years. So this would actually give you upper hand in answering this question. What would your former colleagues say about you if you weren't in the room? So this question is actually giving you giving you we can say a ball to be hit in the goal, and then it is actually maybe a negative side of it or maybe a positive side of it. For example, if you leave a team to discuss something in a room, and you go outside and you just put a speaker, we can say you just a phone, and then put it on recording, and you go outside, you can hear all the negatives or feed or positives about you. So it is like, if you're a leader, if you're not a boss, if you're a leader, you would hear the positive side of it. If you're a boss, you would see the negative side of it. So that is what actually the recruiter wants, that the former colleagues, or the past colleagues, or we can say past team members who were with you, working with you at a point of time, if you were, if you what are the positive things they want to tell about you, or what are the negative things they want to tell about you. So it is about strengths and weakness again. So what are your strengths, what are your weakness, all are interconnected with it. So if you have so positivity in you that you have to, you can understand your weaknesses, and you can communicate the weakness with your employee, with your potential recruiter, then it is very easy to communicate with it. Because if you know your weaknesses, if you do your SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity and threats, if you do the SWOT analysis, you will understand that your strengths and your weaknesses are actually very important for you. Because if you understand it in the first case, or forecast it in the first case, you can have a control over your life. So this is again the basic general questions which they would ask. Then tell me about an accomplishment you're most proud of. This is again achievement which you have done. It may be a professional accomplishment, or it may be a educational accomplishment, or it may be something personal at all. You can discuss this with your recruiter. Tell me about a time when you disagreed with your boss. This is again showing a professional value thing, because if you have a disagreement with your boss, and if you are going to raise your voice, or we can say putting a negative impact on it, then the current recruiter would actually feel the same. Because if you're employed in the so and so company, and if you have a similar position, and when you have a disagreement with your boss, you would react the same way. So it is giving you a way where it is giving you an opportunity where actually your inborn talents, or we can say inborn positivity, is actually reflected. So this is again a point where you have to say about how well you manage yourself, how well you manage your positive things, how even if you disagreed with some of the points which your boss had come up, but how well you communicated with the boss. So these are all questions which can be discussed. Now, how do you handle pressure? One of the basic question. Pressure is very, we can say, the most common question all the recruiters would ask, because how do you handle pressure would be the most common question everybody would ask you. So handling pressure, how it is, if it is giving a negative impact or a positive impact, you have to communicate with them. So it is very important to understand that personal gains are a part, but still, if you have any negative issues, you have to have a clear picture of how well you handle these in a positive times. So are you a leader or a follower? Another basic question. Is it the same like, are you a boss or a we can say, are you a boss or a leader? It is the same question, because are you a leader or a follower? Gives a clear picture that how well you are actually communicating the things to your team. So this is what the recruiter is actually looking from you. How would you fire someone? What do you like the most and least about working in the industry? Now, if you are recruited in a management position, or we can say in a managerial role, the most crucial point is termination. So if you want to terminate some people on a basis of the vision of the management, we can say on some hidden agendas, then you have to have a framed policy in front of you. So it is your strong point, or we can say it is your point now, where you want to communicate to the recruiter about how you're going to tackle the situation of hiring someone. So you have to communicate this. Next question would be, why are you looking for a new job? So again, this draws a time where you have to communicate the thing of understand, or we can say communicating the idea of why did you come here? Why are you sitting in front of you, front of the recruiter? So these all things would be going in your mind. So why are you looking for a new job? This is again the thing which has to be pre-planned and answered. So these are some basic 20 questions which I framed here to discuss with you. You can have a quick research on this as well. Now, the second part of this session would be life after termination. Very difficult to understand this situation, because I would personally suggest that if you have been terminated, you would relate to me, because you will relate to this session. If you have not been terminated, then you just see this session or see these slides to prepare yourself. If you are in a situation of if you are in a similar situation, you can overcome it. So before going forward, I just want to give you some points here. So before, some precautions which you can take from day one. So day one of your job, from the day one of your job till the day you're terminated, is very crucial. So these days you can take some precautions. These are the precautions. Always expect terminations from the date of you joining your new workplace. This doesn't mean that you are in always acting that way to your employer, that he gets the feeling that you're going above the line. So always believe that you're not a permanent employer for an organization. You have, for example, you're not a permanent employee for an organization. You are going to be terminated you are going to be terminated one day. So this is very important. You have to get it in your mind that you are not a permanent asset to a company. You may sustain for 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, but at a point you have to be terminated or you resign. So these are two extremes which are going to take place. So this is what you have to first understand. Second would be, stay connected from the first day of your job to all possible leads. To all possible leads means networking, simple networking. Stay connected. So if you are staying connected with all the possible leads, then it is giving you an upper hand to tackle things in the coming days. Always take backup of your emails or works and completed projects. Very important. Many people don't document their projects, or we can say many people don't document their achievements and accomplishments. It is very important from the first day what you're doing, you have to document it. You have to take a backup of what you're doing. Update your CV with your recent accomplishments. I see many people do not touch their CV after they are being recruited. Before for example, if they are in a job search time frame, they are actually updating their CV on a regular basis. But after their placement, they are not actually caring about the CV at any time. So whatever they have accomplished, they should actually fill it in the CV on a daily basis, or we can say on a monthly basis, or on a quarterly basis. It is upon them. So you have to fill the accomplishments in your CV on a regular basis. Do good to yourself by staying clean and away from all sorts of malpractices, bribes, false tactics, etc. This is a basic general thing. Wherever you are placed, you have to be honest, you have to be sincere. So this is the baseline of it, out of it. Enjoy the limits set before you and try to challenge yourself by learning a new thing daily. So I think I see many people after getting placements and after getting a good job, they become stagnant over a period of time. They don't actually relate to anything new, or we can say they don't actually learn anything new. So they become stagnant at many times. So it is very important to understand that learning is actually the most important thing which you can do when you are in a specific job profile, because after leaving the job, it is very difficult to learn new things. It may be expensive also, but when you're in the present profile, it is very easy to learn the things. So it is very important to learn continuously. Speak to your colleagues while at work and maintain always a healthy relationship with them. Very important again. A healthy relationship at workplaces does matter at all. So speaking to your colleagues while at work is very important. Always network with them daily. Next would be accumulate all possible information about your working profile and the future of your profile. So all possible information, all possible leads about your profile, you should accumulate. So what are you doing daily? What are the things you're going through? What is the company's vision? All these things you have to accumulate. Try to participate in all possible seminars, get-togethers, professional gatherings, workshops, etc. Basic general thing. Whenever you are in, whenever you have the time, you can attend online sessions as well. So these are the basic precautions which you can take from the day one. So next would be some basic guidelines which you see in the screen when you're terminated. Once terminated, do not panic, just be cool, read the letter again. Because some people find it difficult to relate to that they have been actually terminated. They don't get it the first time. They read it again and again, over 3 times or 4 times or 5 times, and still they don't believe it. So do not panic at all. I know the things which is going through your mind. I have been in this similar situation, but do not panic at all. Just be cool, read the letter again. Stay focused. Now, many people actually think that this is the end of the world, and they actually go forward to do negative things. They lose their mind. So you have to be focused at this point of time. It is very difficult to advise. It is very difficult. It is very easy to advise, but when you are actually in that point, it is very difficult to get through these things. Thank you, HR, for the wonderful opportunity which your company had given you during the past years. So again, very important. Go to your boss and give a firm handshake and tell him it was wonderful working with you, sir. I'm hereby leaving and would like to continue a professional relationship. Again, opening a window for a positive impact. Looking for your HR and speak to him regarding the future procedures at your end of service benefits. Always remember, you are entitled to all the benefits as per the legal proceedings. This is a very general thing. After all the process, clean your desks and sort all your documents. This will be easy for the next person to take up from where you left. This is a job continuation thing. Leave the office on time when you're done. You may not have a backup plan. If you don't have, leave the office on time when you're done. Depends on the termination clauses. It depends on the contract as well. So if you are having a 1 month notice period, or if you are being forced to leave at the same time, it is depending on the situation. Then it is the next 3 is very important. Reach home with a smile and be positive. You may not have a backup plan. If you don't have, start from the scratch. Now, reaching home with a smile and be positive. This is the most toughest part, because the members at home would be actually tensed. So when you're giving a more tensed approach to them, they will become more tensed. So there is no use out of it. So when you're reaching home, reach with a smile and a can-do attitude, and tell them and make them understand that it is not the end of the world. So it is very important to smile and being positive. You may not have a backup plan. I completely understand with it, but still, if you don't have a backup plan, you can start from the scratch and you can do what is best for you. Your updated CV is your next tool for your job search. Now, this is the biggest tool which you possess now. Your previous connections might help. So this is the basic general thing which I am discussing here, is that you always network, always being connected is actually going to help you. So these are some important points. Yeah. The next would be start visiting. This was post-COVID, okay? This was for example, pre-COVID situations, when visiting the companies was actually viable, or we can say actually was there. But now after COVID situation, it is not even, we are not able to visit the company. So online sessions is what matters at all. So during COVID times, it is very difficult to understand that companies are hiring, but still using your networks, using your connections is again the only key which actually I would suggest to in this situation. Always remember, do not be lazy. So people think that being after terminated, you have to just sleep and you have to do one hour of research or 2 hour of research or 3 hour of job search. No, it is same like a full-time job. So it is like a full-time job. Searching job is a full-time job. So always remember, do not be lazy. Do not sleep at home. Just sleep at home for longer hours after your termination. It may lead to wastage of opportunity and time. So whenever the offices are working from morning 9 to 2 or 9 to 5, the same time you have to be alive, you have to be awake, you have to understand that people are looking for opportunity and people are looking for people like you. So you have to continuously apply. Be smart and approach all possible possible networks. Sorry. Be smart and approach all possible networks. So being connected is very important again. So these are some of the things which I wanted to share with you. Thanks a lot for listening. If you're not still part of the team, you can connect with us. You can WhatsApp your details to me. I will put you in the group, the learning and networking group. We have a group there. I will share this document in this group as well. Over to you, Sushma.
Yeah, hi, Jason. Thank you. The session was really fruitful. The insights, the learning is amazing from the session. Thank you very much for your time, Jason.
Thank you.
And even the participants, thank you very much to joining in today and taking the notes and whatever you have learned from the session. And please let us know if you have any questions. Anyone has any question? There's someone who was trying to connect, but Priyanka, she said she's not able.
Ishwar has a question. Ishwar has raised a hand, yeah.
Yes.
Hi, good evening. Sorry, I could get access only at the time when the session got completed.
No problem.
Yeah, he just joined in 4 minutes back.
Yeah.
Because today we started session at 3:30, Ishwar.
That's right. But actually, I was in queue. I was unable to get access. It was I think somebody from the admin had to give me an access. So I missed most of the session.
Yeah. Now Priyanka is also, I have admitted her. Anyways.
Yeah.
I think at this point in time, when people are losing their jobs and everything, it is very much essential, not to give up. It's the best time for them to upskill themselves and, keep trying for new opportunities and everything. I'm sure, there are various industries, like the industry itself is down. So
yeah, true.
You can't do anything like aviation or hospitality, the hotels and everything. So, but then yes, this kind of networking and keep themselves open to opportunities and keep applying would definitely, help them a lot. In fact, I wanted to share something, but then,
yes,
okay, in the next session or something, I will, I will bring some tips where, I have some material. I could not actually bring it now at this moment, but then in next session or something, just give me 5 or 10 minutes time
no
that
problem.
I can share some best practices or how
we
to
can
face
put in the next
interview.
session. Ishwar, we can put in the next session. I will connect with you for the next session. No problem.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks again. I think we have done with this session. Anybody else have any questions regarding anything? Just feel free to ask. If you have not joined in our network group, just drop me a WhatsApp message. I will message you the link to the network group. We have already 170 members plus in the network group, and daily vacancies. Apart from the job search, we are sharing the knowledge as well, and many people are benefited from this group as well.
Yes. I think no one has any further questions.
I think we can wind up the session. Yeah.
Yes. Ishwar is sending messages like, keep up the good work and all. Thank you, Ishwar, for your messages.
Welcome.
Okay, I think we can wind up, Jason.
Yes, please. Thanks again. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Thank you.